Hello, I'm Sarah, and it's day 6 of the Turn Back Time Healthy Eating Challenge, and I'm just a little less present than I was yesterday. Another ½ pound less present. My weight is still falling, it's slowed a little. I'm still struggling to get to 10 blocks every day, so that might be the reason. Who would have thought that I would be forcing food down? It's unimaginable. But it is still going, and today, at my measuring session, I seem to be dropping in 1/4 of an inch increments, losing 1/4 of an inch off my waist, my hips, and my right and left calves. Nearly a week in, I'm 3½ pounds lighter. The National Institutes of Health says one should only lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. Others say 3 to 4 pounds a week is a healthy weight loss ratio. So it might seem slow, but it is actually what is prescribed to do it properly. I'm not sure how you would make sure you only lose a pound. You either eat healthily or you don't. In my view, the body knows what it's doing, and if I just feed it right, it will drop what it doesn't need. I was interested to see a diagram showing what is responsible for the different types of fat we might carry, whether it's in the front or on the sides or on the bottom or the thighs. Apparently, if it's at the front, it's what's called cortisol belly. If you have a cortisol belly, you may gain weight in your face too. Basically, you're too stressed, working too hard, and not sleeping enough. Yep, that's me. Guilty. And yes, I have that, although I reckon I also have all the other types too. One thing that's important to do is sleep. Not just to rest the body, but also because most fat burning happens at night. We burn the most fat during REM sleep, when the brain is most active, dreaming. So you want to give your body a really good chance of getting to REM sleep by sleeping for longer. Also, human growth hormone is released while we sleep, and that burns adipose fat tissue for energy to repair muscles. So you can literally sleep your way thin if you give your body enough sleep and have that fueling 1 fat, carb and protein block before sleep. We all need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. We really should stop all stimulating activities except reading after 10 p.m. No blue light. The old adage states an hour before midnight is worth 2 after. If you do have cortisol belly, then sleep is potentially the cure. So will you sleep earlier if it'll make you thin? No, it seems in my life. I keep battering on. But now I've read that, I'm thinking, too darn right I will. You may have black bags under your eyes too, like me. I've always thought that this was due to lack of sleep. And I think in part that's true, but in a roundabout way, because black eyes are actually a sign of a highly stressed liver, a sign that you're piling too many toxins into your body for your liver to filter out. If you restrict yourself to eating well and decide to sleep well too, the black eyes will vanish. You really do have to prioritize yourself for these 8 weeks. I'm sure that sometime over the past week it's crossed your mind that there are drugs now to make you lose weight without all this faff and effort. But I looked into Ozempic, a semaglutide. All my son's friends are talking about it, so I thought I'd do a bit of digging. And the drug company says that it supports weight loss, but claims it will only make you lose about 1 kilogram a month. That's 2 pounds a month, and not until you've been on the drug for 2 to 3 weeks. Well, I've lost that already and more in a few days. However, it also admits it doesn't always work. There were some social media posts by people lamenting the fact that they'd been taking Ozempic for a few weeks and nothing was happening. And a few doctors weighed in and said that it doesn't always work unless the patient completely changes their diet to, wait for it, fruit, vegetables, lean protein, nuts and seeds. They advised anyone on Ozempic to give up sugary foods, bread and pasta, and anything processed. So what exactly is the Ozempic doing? Because if you do that, you're going to lose weight anyway. And for a moment I thought, well, that's genius. They're giving them a drug and telling them it won't work unless they eat well. A fantastic carrot and stick. But then I read the reports of Ozempic causing thyroid cancer, cardiac issues, and intestine paralysis in animals. So I think I'll just stick with the kale in the air fryer, 4 minutes. It's quite lovely. And for those of you with high blood pressure, Kale has the highest nitric oxide rating of any vegetable, bar none. Nitric oxide is a gas which relaxes and expands the arteries, so lowering blood pressure. It also ramps up the body's immune system. Men will know there's another very good reason to expand the blood flow through the arteries. And kale can work wonders with erectile dysfunction. Kale is streets ahead of any other vegetable for providing the body with nitric oxide. Next competitor is Swiss chard, I'm not even sure I know what that is, with a third less than kale, and argula with a sixth of what kale can provide. Before I go today, just so you know that the medical profession knows the effect of nitric oxide and kale on blood pressure, a friend decided to source nitric oxide himself through his diet while still taking his blood pressure medicine. And then he had a dizzy turn and almost lost consciousness. And so he went to the doctor and he told the doctor what he'd done. And she looked appalled and said, "Oh no, you can't do that. That's like giving yourself a double dose of nitric oxide. It sent your blood pressure plunging through the floor." He was a bit shocked and he said, "Well, what would you suggest I do then?" And she said she felt the medication was far more reliable than the food. Really? It isn't just kale that can medicate your body either, but we'll talk about that in a later podcast. So I'm off to seek out another recipe from the recipe book for dinner. It's quite an adventure really, isn't it? See you tomorrow.